Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Remembrance Day service. Great to see you all this morning. We will be ringing the kancho, and it signifies the start of the service. So please sit quietly while the kancho is being rung. Please rise for the meditation, followed by the chanting in Pali and English of the Vandana Tisarana. And if you don't know where that is, you can find it in the Brown Praises of the Buddha book, page 165. Reverend Dr. Sumikawa will start the meditation, and the pianist will play some meditation music. Please be seated. The Sambujo and aspiration will be done by Reverend Dr. Bert Sumikawa.
Of Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and all the Buddhas of the 10 directions to this remembrance service. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Fortunate are we who, upon having heard the divine truth and having been given everlasting life, may leave this human existence in peace and tranquility and be surrounded in Amida's infinite wisdom and inconceivable compassion. We honor with deep gratitude the members, families, friends, and pets of the Wynwood Buddhist Temple who have passed away in the month of July. With deepest gratitude to the boundless, inconceivable blessings of Amida Buddha, we take eternal refuge in the three treasures of this teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. We will now have the remembrance of those who have passed away this month in any year, individuals and also pets. Reverend Sumikawa will be hitting the gong or the Dai King several times to start this portion of the service. Then the names of the deceased will be announced. Please go forward to just offer incense. Then Reverend Sumikawa will hit the gong again for the next name. After the last name is called and incense offered, he will hit the gong several times. We will then go directly into the sutra, Junai, which is found on page 59, and the chanting starts on page 60 in the red Jodo Shinshu service book. Matsuda. Kazuo Sumikawa. Toshio Miyamoto.
Isho shujo 송 지보 쇼라이 쇼무시 갱갱ing스 시안나 생도 주겐조 그요 고가 조라이 미나송 쇼무조무가도 야근여 스이가스냉여로 이슈세포 무묘지 고가 조라이 미나송 이송그 세트무아구며 야금은 요닝가 그노프 슈닝 시신 교희송 오나 조라이 미나송 이송 무료 호백교 무쇼슈 아흐지식 오조 후다이 시보나이 고가 조라이 미나송 가세스 희소 그덕그지 슈생무행 묘가이스이 쇼격생공 쇼조쇼 에세슈
Please rise and turn to page 44 in our purple Windward Buddhist Temple Supplemental Service Book. The back of the pocket, or it's in the back of the chair, and we will be reciting our pledge. on page 44. Reaching out to others, I will share a smile and gentle words, like the Buddha who always calls out with aloha. Breaking away from my greed, anger, and ignorance, I will try to live in peace and harmony, just like the Buddha who shares tranquility and kindness with all. Moving forward from self-centeredness, I will share a life of joy and sorrow with others, just like the Buddha whose caring heart always embraces us. Realizing that I live because of others, I will strive to live life to the fullest and with an attitude of gratitude, just like the Buddha who promises to embrace us all.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Please continue to stand and find the Gatha Arigatai on page 15 of the purple book also. Thank you. Please be seated. The Dharma talk this morning will be given by our Reverend Dr. Bert Sumikawa. And please refer to the sheet that was given to you on your way. And so I'd like to call on Reverend Dr. Sumikawa for a Dharma talk.
Good morning, everyone. So how is everybody today? It's good to see you after a week's absence. Maybe you guys don't even know I wasn't here last week. Anyway, let's put our hands together in reverence as I read these words. The sages of the Tathagata's pure lotus are born transformed from the flower of perfect enlightenment. Thus, the aspirations of sentient beings are swiftly and completely fulfilled. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, this Sunday for my Dharma message, I thought that I would like to briefly discuss on how the Buddha delivers or makes us realize Amida's compassion and wisdom. And so, today I would like to discuss a very simple children's song that I believe most of you may know. Most of you may recall singing it as a child, or maybe sung to you by your grandmother or great-grandmother, as the case may be. And this song is Yu Yake Koyake, that can be used to deliver a Buddhist message. So, we will first all sing this song. We'll do this twice for those who may not know the song. And we are going to be accompanied by a ukulele and piano. Sing loud now, everybody, okay? Okay, should we sing it twice? Or that's enough, yeah? Maybe that's enough. You know? So, at first reading and first singing, this may not seem as a Jodo Shinshu teaching. But if you bear with me, I will try to go through each line and apply it to the understanding. The first line in the song, Yu Yake Koyake de Higa Kurete. It depicts the brilliance of the setting sun as the day darkens slowly. What does this mean? As we know, the sun sets in the west. In Buddhism, the west is where the Pure Land is, or Ojo-do. That is where it's located. The sun, then, is the Buddha. In the Western paradise, the Buddha is returning to the Pure Land. In the second line, Yama no otera no kane ga naru. In Japan, most of the main temples are alluded to being on mountaintops. And this is due to the Chinese influence on Japanese Buddhism. Many of the temples in China are built on mountaintops. The main temple of our Honganji, the Nishi Honganji, is located in what is referred to as Ryukokuzan, or Ryukoku Mountain. The name Ryukoku is derived from the division of the kanji for Otani. So as the sun is setting, the temple bells are rung, and Amida is calling everyone to come and return to the Pure Land. The next line goes like this: O te te tsunaide minna kaero. Let us all go together. Let's all go hand in hand. Let us all return to the Pure Land, to Ojo-do. One of the fundamental teachings in Jodo Shinshu is the doctrine of Oso Eko and Genso Eko. The 18th vow, what is known as the primal vow, assures that we are destined for the Pure Land and will return to samsara, or the world that we live in, to engage in salvific activity for the benefit of all mankind. The final line in the first stanza, Karasu to ishoni kairemasho. What does that mean? It means that the vow of the Buddha that saves all sentient beings includes not only humans, but all life. Karasu means crow, right? The crows. But it means all of life, the birds, the cows, the horses. Yes, even the cockroaches and everything. So when you step on a cockroach, I hope you say the Nembutsu. It means that we are all connected to one another. We are interconnected closely with one another and are interdependent with all of life itself from the beginning of time. You know, it is said that 97% of our DNA is the same as the banana slug. That means that only 3% of our DNA separates us from the banana slug. Is that discouraging or encouraging? Up to you. So let us all together go hand in hand, return to the Pure Land, to Ojodo, as we're all one with the universe. Now let's take a look at the first line of the second stanza. It reads, Kodomo ga kaeta ato kara wa. What happens when the children all return to the Pure Land, or is embraced by the vow of Amida? Marui o kina otsuki sama. There is a bright moon appearing in the sky. As you know, the moon does not give off its own light, but it is illuminated by the sun. The light of the sun is reflected off of the moon. The moon, therefore, is the Myokonin. Myokonins are wonderful people of the Dharma who, despite the lack of a formal education, are characterized by their piety and profound spirituality, and what they express comes straight from their innermost heart. They are all embraced by the Nembutsu and are illuminated by the Buddha's vow. The line that follows next is Kotori ga yume o miru koro. The little birds, the sentient beings, now have a vision or dream that they are embraced and are one with Amida. And the last line, Sora ni wa kira kira king no hoshi. King no hoshi. In the heavens, millions of stars are twinkling brightly. Stars do emit a light of their own. The sun is a star. So the stars are the millions of bodhisattvas and Buddhas keeping careful watch over us, constantly guiding us to enlightenment. They are our ancestors, carefully guiding us to the Pure Land with wisdom and compassion. Shinran Shonin, founder of the Honganji, says in the Notes of Essentials of Faith Alone, a sutra states that Kannon Bosatsu, or Kuan Yin in Chinese, with the name Treasure Response, reveals himself as a god of the sun and dispels the pitch darkness of ignorance in all beings. And Seishi Bosatsu, with the name of Bodhisattva Treasure Happiness, reveals himself as a god of the moon and illuminates the long night of birth and death. Together they bring forth wisdom in all beings. The symbolism of light, not only the working of wisdom, is not only the working of wisdom, but of compassion as well. As stated in the larger sutra and incorporated in the Shoshin-ge by Shinran, Amida has 12 names. The Buddha of infinite light, the Buddha of boundless light, the Buddha of unhindered light, the Buddha of incomparable light, Buddha of the light of the King of Flame, the Buddha of pure light, the Buddha of the light of joy, the Buddha of the light of wisdom, Buddha of unceasing light, the Buddha of inconceivable light, Buddha of ineffable light, and the Buddha of the light outshining the sun and the moon. In Buddhism, compassion is all-embracing, non-judgmental, and nurturing. So we continue this discussion today on what a myoho-renge is and how they affect and transmit the Dharma to us. Myoho-renges have been documented throughout history from the Tokugawa period to modern times. Literally, a myoho-renge means a wondrous, excellent person and is used for a devout follower of Jodo Shinshu who lives a life of total dedication to Amida Buddha and whose acts and sayings, although some of their sayings may run counter to what is perceived as common sense, reveal the depth of faith and true humanity. Those known as myoho-renge have been found to have little or no education, but have a surprisingly deep and thorough understanding of the teaching of other power. Despite the fact that some of them were even illiterate, their religious understanding was deep and it was profound. Some of them wrote poems in simple Japanese, while others could not even write, but their sayings and poems were written down by others. They are not only devout practices of the Nembutsu, but having realized the other power and having experienced oneness with Amida Buddha, they fully live up to Amida's all-embracing compassion. While they understand that they are powerless themselves, they are extremely grateful to Amida in their thoughts and in their expressions of joy and of love. The term myoho-renge originally came from Shantou, Shantao's commentary. Shantou was one of the seven masters. In his commentary on the Contemplation Sutra, in a comment on the word fundarike, the Japanese word, it means a white lotus flower, or pundarike. In the sutra, the word fundarike is used to praise followers of the Nembutsu. Other words used by Shantou are koning, an excellent person, jojo-ning, a superior person, and myoho-renge, keiho-ning, a rare person, saisho-ning, the most excellent person. Of these five, the term myoho-renge came to be used to refer to a person of true faith in the Nembutsu. I'd like to tell you stories of two myoho-renge, one in Japan, the second one written by a person from Kona on the Big Island. The first one is goes by the name of Saichi, who lived in Shimane Prefecture from 1850 to 1933. His own personal life greatly influenced his religious seeking and understanding. His parents were divorced when he was 11, and this deeply painful experience was expressed in his poems of hate and remorse that he felt for his parents. I thought it would be better if my parents would die. Why don't my parents die, I thought. This totally sinful man, filled with evil karma, how was I able to live until today without the earth splitting open and swallowing me? In his young adult life, Saichi was involved in gambling and was even arrested once for it. Perhaps thinking that his life was useless, he began listening to the Dharma earnestly, being influenced by a Honganji priest in his hometown, and by listening to speakers that was brought over to his hometown temple. Later on in his life, he worked as a carpenter, a shipbuilder, and finally as a guitar maker. I think I mentioned this once before in one of my messages. Even though he had little formal education, he wrote many poems expressing his thoughts on the Nembutsu, Amida Buddha, the Pure Land, and his own ego-centered heart and mind. In one of the poems, he writes, "O Saichi, who is Nyorai-san? He is no other than myself. Who is the founder of the Shin teaching? He is no other than myself. What is the canonical text? It is no other than myself. The ordinary man's heart has no fixed root, yet this rootless one takes delight in the Dharma. This is because he is giving Oya's heart, Oya means parent, or the heart of Namo Amida Butsu." At first glance, the poem seems to show a bit of arrogance. How could Saichi say he is the Buddha or the founder of Jodo Shinshu, or that he is the sutra themselves? But Saichi's poem reflects the heart and mind that is one with the truth of the Dharma, that of Namo Amida Butsu. So for Saichi, Shinran is with one heart, with Saichi, being totally immersed in the Nembutsu. He is one with the sutras, so that the sutras are none other than Saichi himself. Oya's heart, parent's heart, referring to the Buddha. Saichi calls the Buddha his true parent. Shiono Sasaki, who was born in Kau on the Big Island, endured a hard and rocky early life on the Kona coffee farm. Turning to other religions, she resisted any of the idealistic religions that she came in contact with. Even though she thought that Amida Buddha was for her, she was deeply confused. Though troubled by her confusion, she turned to Reverend Shuung Matsuura of Kealakekua. One day, after returning home from temple services, her husband, Kumataro, who had just returned from working in the coffee field, scolded her, shouting, "You're always going to the temple. What for?" Shona replied, "To listen. After listening, what did you learn?" Shona replied, "Nothing." Kumataro then said, "Bakatari, what a fool you are." Hearing those words, something flashed across Shiono's inner being. "Oh, today I'm finally able to truly listen. Yes, I'm able to accept and embrace my foolish self." Shiono was awakened to her true nature as a foolish and ignorant being that was made possible by the working of Amida Buddha's compassion, which unfolded and which embraced her. She realized her own foolish nature as she listened to the critical words of her husband. And so she wrote, "When told I was foolish, truly foolish, it was by the power of the primal vow that led to my fall. Rejoicing, I said, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. When I fell after being told to fall, I found myself on a lotus petal. I am ashamed of myself. I am sorry. Tears of joy come streaming down." These stories that I just related to you are just a few tiny examples of the deep inner resolve of the Myokonin that form the basis of their religious experience and existence. Their expressions of faith significantly mirror the way a Jodo Shinshu follower sees the working of Amida Buddha's compassion and their reliance on the primal vow of the other power. Thus, they share their teachings with us of their experiences of deep listening through what we call Jishin Kyoninchen. That's what it says right up there. Or sharing our faith with the world. Jishin, or to have faith first, and then Kyoninchen, to share it with others. The Meditation Sutra states that a person of Nembutsu is a lotus blossom among people. A person of Nembutsu is a wondrous person among people, an excellent, wondrous person, a superior person, a rare person, and a most distinguished person. So I hope you all got something out of a simple children's song this morning. The Buddha is often depicted as a being that provides us with 48,000 different teachings to attain true peace and freedom from suffering. In closing, I would like to share this wasang with you. Wasangs are songs that were written in Japanese by Shinran Shonin. Most of the writings of Shinran Shonin were written in Chinese or Sino-Japanese. So this is a Japanese. The light of compassion illuminates us from afar. Those beings it reaches, it is taught, attain the joy of Dharma. So take refuge in Amida, the great consolation. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Sumikawa. I have a new perspective on my childhood songs now. Please rise for the Gatha Shinshu anthem found on page 147 of the Brown Praises of Buddha book. And then continue standing for the Nembutsu after our anthem.
bow to the ground before Amida, the noble one. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Please be seated. I'd like to now call on our president, Mrs. Prudence Cusano.
Good morning. Nice to see everybody. Let's see. I don't think we have any guests today. Thank you, Annette, for being our MC, Alan for serving as our greeter, and Reverend for your singing songs, and that was interesting. It's one of my favorite children's songs. And our pianists, Joy and Lisa. You know, for all of you, Joy and Lisa sort of is our head of our music department at Woodward. And so the result is, you know, we have so many new songs coming out. And the song that we sang today is one of those new songs. And so they're starting to have a group of people that wants to sing to join them. And they had one scheduled for Saturday, but I guess they had to cancel because not many people showed up. But if there's a nice core of people that can sing real loud, the rest of us can follow. So thank you. So those of you interested, Joy would let you know when her next session is going to be. And you know, I want you to acknowledge Cynthia, because she hit the concho for the first time today. You know, we've been practicing a lot, and it's not as easy, you know, but good for you. Thanks, Cynthia. And today's refreshment is going to be from Lisa's team. So, and of course, today is Bingo Sunday. Next week is our last service for July, and then we have an August break. However, and next week our speaker will be Cookie, so please attend. And the first Sunday in August, we plan to go to visit Higashi Honganji. Several of you have signed up. I have a second sheet up today, so if you're, you know, the list on the first is all filled up, so please sign up on that. And people from Kaneohe, if they choose to, they can drive directly there, but those of us from Kailua and Honolulu, if we meet here by 8:30, Stan is going to drive us in his bus, so we don't have to drive, and he'll carpool us over there. So be here by 8:30. And because next week is our last Sunday, and then, but just to assure you that we will have a newsletter for September and October that will be coming out late August. So that'll give you the updates for September. I also wanted to announce that, I think earlier I had mentioned that the Buddhist Studies Center is celebrating their 50th anniversary, and they had 2 special speakers. But due to COVID, there has been some changes, and one of them is not going to be here. But for those of you that receive email newsletter from headquarters, the information should be there. Also, the Oahu District is having their fall seminar. It's called Violence from a Buddhist Perspective. The speaker is Dr. Tatsuguchi. She is, I guess, a licensed psychologist. And it's in Saturday, September 24. It's a hybrid, so you can go in person, and that's at Mililani, or you can go via Zoom. So I'll have this posted. And also, I sent out to you by email, you know, there's a lot of talk going on about what happened at the Supreme Court. So Bishop Matsumoto has written a statement on the right to reproductive freedom. And so I'll post a copy there for those of you that are interested. Are there any other announcements? Cynthia, anything for, oh, Roy.
We still have Pakuan to sell.
Oh, okay.
Cookie made for bitter melon.
Oh, okay. All right. No other announcements? Oh, we do have a new visitor, Miyoko. She came with Florence. She's sitting right there. Welcome. I hope you from Betsuing, you sing these songs a lot, so you can be a loud voice, so come visit again. We'll follow you. Okay, before we go and have refreshments, let's do words of thanksgiving. It's in the Red Book, page 126. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Okay. Thank you. Don't you think the flowers are so pretty today? It matches the altar cloth. Yeah, I said, wow. Perfect. Thank you.